folks. Well, here we are. I am now scraping and thinning my top, the rosette here in the top, with a decent amount of success. A lot of learning, which way to cut, which way to not cut, when to use a plane, when to use a scraper, when to use sandpaper. It's all learning, but it's learning and it's getting done, and only a couple of little faux pas with getting down into either the wood or I've only gouged the inside of this a couple of times, so I'm trying to bias everything into the middle here. So we're just going to keep going until it gets flat, and then we'll pull the tape off and we'll look at it, and then in theory we can cut the sound hole out, and then we'll be a step closer. So yeah, watch me scrape. And I use a whole bunch of stuff. I started out with some 100 grit sandpaper. I've used scrapers, I've used a plane, and now I'm down to sanding, and I've finally taken the tape off of it, mostly because I'm not very adept at scraper-ing. And there's been a couple of little casualties along the way. One, there were a couple, 3, 4 little tear outs here where the wood from this spalted maple was really soft, and when I was using the plane, which I'm not very adept at either, tore out a little bit. So I just filled in those gaps with our friend, the little tiny super glue, and let it set, and then just continued on. And then here, the inside edge of this binding, or this purfling, caught. This is the damage from when I tried to moosh it in there initially, because the channel here is too tight, and then here it just got caught up in the blade and kind of tore out a little bit. Again, same thing, I just pressed it back in as well as I could, super glued it back in, and now we seem to be doing okay. We're back to sanding. I'm up to using just some 180 grit right now to try to get this down. It's really close. And I use a variety of sanding blocks just because that's the way I am. I've used this one. This is just a piece of oak chair rail on the back. I've used that a little bit. I've used this 3M pad. It's called a rubber squeegee, but I find it works really well. I use a lot of this. This is closed cell foam pads from they're sleeping mats for camping, but they're closed cell so they don't soak up water and they're pretty firm. I've used this 3M sanding block, foam sanding block, and then I've used this a little bit too. This was, I don't know, some sort of giveaway. I got it at a place called the County Clare Pub in Tachikawa, Japan. It was a keychain of some sort. Well, I just trimmed off the offending bits I didn't like because it's just a solid piece of rubber. And I'll use that as well. So we're close. But remember, when you're working with spalted products, the fungus is among us, so wear your mask. So, hey, we're close. We're almost done, so let me stop talking and get on it. Alright, things are plugging along. I want to point out a couple of things too here, though. There's a couple of areas that I'm finding where either the router tore out a little bit, which is the instance in these two areas here. I'm having to continue filling. There's some gaps here. Now I know this is going to be covered about right there, but I'm going to fix it anyways. And as I sand down, these areas are so small, sometimes you get like a little air bubble in there, and then you just sand through, and then the hole's back again. So you just keep filling it as we go down. This here is from from the original piece. There was a crack, a little fissure in there, and as I have sanded down, there's an area where there was a gap. Our initial filling of this, it didn't get filled all the way, and it's stable because it's glued on all these edges here. But I've just continued to fill that in. It's really close. In fact, right here, it's almost level. So it's getting really close to being flat. I'm using this nice flat piece of hard oak, and as you'll see, the whole thought process is that it's evenly sanding on either side of it. So I can sand like this, and then I just rotate it around, and that way I'm keeping an even pressure and trying not to make one side higher than the other. This right here is probably the highest that I'm at, right there. So yeah, we're coming on. It's getting close. Yay! All right, let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, that is going to be nice.